Okay, so another form of coaching is positive psychology coaching. Now, positive psychology, that term there was coined by Martin Seligman, who was an American uh, psychologist, teacher, educator, and he wrote a book called Learned Optimism. He wrote another book called Authentic Happiness. He wrote tons of books, but they were the latest two books that he released, I'd say, in this the last 10 to 20 years. And he's had a very profound effect on the coaching space because a lot of coaches like to bring in his perspectives and his practices. He does a lot of research. He has been involved in a lot of assessments and tests and study groups, and he brings to the table a lot of really cool insights. So it would be worth you picking up at least one of those books, Learned Optimism or Authentic Happiness, or a number of other books that he has. Will share many different ways of being a better coach from a psychologist perspective. So if you wanted to learn from Martin Seligman, there are many awesome principles in those books that I think will definitely deepen your craft as a coach. I like to use positive psychology practices at the end of sessions often, or in checkup calls, just to continue to put like the icing on the cake, right? Because I also believe in looking back in the past and working on the childhood trauma and the wounds. I also want to look at the present and see what's happening now. We want to look at the associations we have with the shadow, right? The unconscious aspects of ourselves. Whereas Martin Seligman focuses more on the present to the future, right? A little bit like cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness, but he doesn't dig back in the past as much. He does a bit as a psychologist, but not as much as some of the other methods that I've shared with you. So here are some tools and exercises that you would come across when it comes to positive psychology. I'm going to share these with you, and then you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to be able to bring in. The first one is a strength assessment. Typically, you will find in positive psychology, many practitioners in that space or coaches that run with positive psychology tools will often use some sort of an assessment where it's like Myers-Briggs, whether it is the VIA character and strengths test or the Big Five test, which is a very popular one. Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. It's like a tool in psychology, which everyone that has a degree in psychology would know what the Big Five is, right? And it's really about understanding your traits and what you're more dominant in and what you're less active in, right? Or more dormant in, as you would say. And one of the tools that you would use in positive psychology is the VIA character strengths survey. I mentioned this before in one of the other sessions, but this is just a great way to find out where your strengths are. You can align goal setting with the strengths that you have. You can align personal development practices and tools to the strengths that your client has. So it's good to get your client to go through an assessment like this at some point while you're working with them. The second thing that you would work through in positive psychology with your client is gratitude exercises. Sounds very simple, but when you get your mindset in a space of gratitude, there's so much power there because it brings you into a state of better well-being and more happiness, right? This is where you feel more full and you feel like there's a possibility and hope. Another one, again, which I repeat every single time, it's going to show up in every method of coaching, is setting SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based goals. I've mentioned it so many times, we don't even need to go into that. Mindfulness practices as well. So like scanning the body is really important. Scanning the body to check in to see how you're feeling in different parts of your body, becoming present in the moment. Meditation, mindful breathing as well is really important. I personally practice a form of meditation, which is a faith-based meditation. So not Eastern, esoteric sort of meditation, transcendental. I used to do that. I focus more on meditating on the word and meditating on the goodness of God and what God's doing in co-creation. That's me personally, but other people have other practices, right? Another practice within positive psychology is savoring. And this is where you encourage your clients to savor the positive experiences, where you get them to connect with that emotion or the accomplishments that they've been able to achieve, and really amplifying that positive emotion and really fostering a sense of gratitude and really feeling content for the achievements that you've been able to make within yourself. And this is really powerful because your clients are able to walk away feeling like there's a great charge that they can tap into when they focus on the positive. Now, obviously, we want to be realistic. Not everything is always positive. The world isn't always fair, right? But it's good to be able to come back to that anchor point and go, oh, yeah, this is actually a powerful state that I get to tap into. Another form of positive psychology coaching is really utilizing the skill of positive reframing. So teaching your clients to reframe negative thoughts or situations in a more positive light that can promote more resilience, more optimism, and also to get them to really see that they can be flexible. They don't always have to be stuck in one way. Acts of kindness is another thing that Martin Seligman talks about a lot, just really practicing acts of kindness. You may even encourage your clients to be able to contribute, to donate. As a believer in God, I'm called to tithe, to give a percentage back to the kingdom. This is a great practice to be able to know that you're a vessel and that more can flow through you when you're more obedient to compassion and love and to what God is calling us to. So Martin Seligman talks about this often. Just giving, contribution brings us to a place of meaning and purpose, right? There's another exercise within positive psychology called 3 good things exercises. So it's really just about reflecting on and writing down 3 positive things that happens each day. So you could get your clients to write that down and send it over to you, or you could get them to write it down and then send it at the end of the week, right? Visualization and mental rehearsal as well, going back into that, visualizing you kicking the goal, getting up and speaking in front of a room full of people and it going well. There's many different studies that Martin Seligman has done around that as well. One was on a basketball team where they got one basketball team to visualize themselves shooting from the free throw line over and over again for a week, and then they went and competed against a group of people that didn't visualize anything at all, and the ones that continued to visualize themselves scoring were the ones that performed a lot better. So, this shows mental rehearsal works. I believe that all achievement starts in the theater of the mind first. We have also self-compassion exercises in positive psychology. So what is that? That's involving really just treating yourself with this kindness, with this understanding, maybe even journaling and writing down what you accept, especially during times where you're struggling a lot, feeling like you're going under a lot of pain or suffering. Really just showing that loving kindness, maybe even meditating on those good things and really imagining yourself being washed over by the grace of God, and really feeling that amazing kindness and love that's in this world too, and not just the suffering, right? Then we have resilience training, and CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, goes into this more so, but positive psychology covers this as well. It's stress management, looking at your coping skills, how you can better navigate challenges and setbacks as well, and just looking at ways that you can course correct in a positive manner, right? And then the last one is just really getting your clients to practice flow state activities. Flow state is when you're in that moment where you're very present, when you feel fully immersed, fully engaged. I feel it sometimes when I'm creating. I feel it when I surf and I'm up on a surfboard. I feel like time slows down and I'm in the moment, right? It can be very healing because you realize like, wow, I'm not so attached to all the external things. I can actually be in the moment and experience a fullness and a happiness. And so Martin Seligman in positive psychology talks often about really just bringing yourself to these states of presence and full immersion. And it's good to encourage your clients to practice engaging and being present in life, right? So why would you want to be positive? Well, you want to be positive because it gives your life meaning, gives you purpose, it gives you direction, it gives you something to be excited about, something to look hopefully forward to, and that in itself can really start to lift your mind to a better place rather than ruminating on all those negative thoughts, right? So definitely check out some of Martin Seligman's books. You could even just maybe check out some more videos on YouTube or whatever about positive psychology. I personally don't believe it's all just about positivity. As I said, you want to keep it real as well. But it is good to be able to lean on these tools with your clients, bring them back to that anchor of positivity as often as possible throughout your sessions. You might do it once or twice or do it every check-in, like I said. great way to be able to bring them back to possibility. Because a lot of the time people come to you for coaching because they feel down and out. They've been stuck in rumination of negative thoughts. They're stuck in this loop or this spiral, or they feel like they're in a hole. So you want to start teaching them that there is hope, that they can actually create something that's more powerful than where they've been. So that's positive psychology. I hope that was helpful for you.